Shabbat Shalom! And welcome back to the Way of Truth through Torah. And this is our afternoon session, and we are having Torah Portia. And what's it all about?
The holy priest being set apart.
I put it on the spot.
Times.
I really was just asking for the name.
Okay. Oh, and he said.
Emor. Oh, wait. Okay, now, y'all just heard Seth sing. I knew. Well, I don't really call that singing, but he's trying. No dancing. Okay, we're not going to. Okay, so guys, we're starting in Leviticus 21, and we're going all the way through Leviticus 24 to 23. And as usual, because we're not going to read the whole thing because we don't have enough time, I'm going to encourage you to please read and study on your own. We're also going to be in Ezekiel 44, 5 through 31, and I know y'all's was probably 15 through 31. Yeah. But I'm starting at 5 because I think there's so much bread and meat in that portion. And then we're going to 1 Peter 2, 4 through 10. As I said, I posted all that on the Facebook page. If we don't get to read it all, please read it on your own because it's really good. This is really a good Torah portion. In 21, and I'm going to tell you something, guys. A lot of this is don't be like the nations. Even today, what are we supposed to be? Set apart. He calls us his peculiar people. Hi, David.
Go check on it.
So he calls us his peculiar people. And so we should not look like the rest of the world, should we?
No, ma'am.
You don't anyway. Okay, you just stand out. But
he's a great dancer.
But he's a great dancer. He showed us his dancing skills at lunch over our roasted garlic. We're a stinking bunch today. So don't be like the other nations. Don't do the things that other nations do. And guys, listen, if you look around right now, if you go out in the streets, what does the population look like? They all look the same. They're all doing the same thing.
Like robots.
They're like robots. They're like everyone is breaking the moral laws, and nobody cares.
Like do.
Yeah, go out on a Shabbat. What are they doing? They're fishing. They're shopping. They're going out to eat. They're going dancing.
Breaking the
you
law.
You might be up
breaking
for that.
The laws of the Most High.
They're breaking the laws, and nobody is set apart. What do we look? Besides really like a cult. That's
Peculiar.
What people call us. We are his peculiar people, and that's what he tells us. We don't fit in with the world. We're not of this world, and we certainly don't act like the world. Not saying that we didn't used to be part of the world. We did. Okay, so we're going to get into chapter 21, and we're going to start with the very first verse, and we're in 21 of Leviticus, and that is going to be page 127 for our good sister Susan. Now, I don't know if Susan has problems counting or but Susan can't find the pages.
Now you know.
Now we know. So, no, I'm kidding. I'm picking at Susan because I love her. She sent me a beautiful picture of trees this morning. What?
Mom did? Oh my Lanta. Sorry.
We've got a lot going on here. So, chapter 21, verse 1. And Yahuah said to Moshe, speak to the priests, the sons of Aaron, and say to them, no one is to be defiled for the dead among his people, except for his relatives who are nearest to him, for his mother, and for his father, and for his son, and for his daughter, and for his brother. Now, what we're going over right now are the commandments for the priest. And as we've said before, there are 613 commandments. Do all of them, do you have to do all 613? No. Why?
Because some of the women, children, priests, men, whatnot have you.
You don't have to follow the ones for the men?
No, the women.
Okay, and the priests, the ones for the priests and the ones for the temple. So right now, there is no temple. Mm-hmm. There is no temple. So these are the rules for the priest. No dead contact except for family, and these are the regular priests. These are the ones who are doing the sacrifices and so forth. If it's the high priest, listen, he can't even defile himself for his mother and father.
Yep.
And we were talking about this earlier. How difficult would that be? Okay, so the regular priest can defile himself for his maiden sister, who is near to him who has no husband, for her he is defiled. A leader does not defile himself among his people to profane himself. They do not make any bald place in their heads. They do not shave the corner of their beard. They do not make cutting in their flesh. They are set apart to their Elohim and do not profane the name of their Elohim. For they bring the fire offerings of Yahuah and the bread of their Elohim and shall be set apart. Yahuah tells us time and time again, I'm holy, you are to be holy and set apart as he is. So guys, why is he telling them right here? He says, don't make bald spots in your head. Don't cut yourselves. Listen, in the pagan nations, you know what they would do immediately when someone died? Cut themselves. It was part of their rituals, even their worship rituals. There was a lot of bloodletting and cutting. Y'all said, you don't do that. You don't make an image. You don't bow down to it. You don't cut yourself. You don't shave your head for the dead. All of this is done, and it's all pagan practice. So if he's telling us, don't be like the nations, he's saying don't do what they're doing. Right?
Something in the Targum.
Oh, good.
Yeah,
now, guys,
good.
So Seth is reading to us from the Targum, and the Targum is the Aramaic form of the scriptures. It is, I'm going to tell you something, it brings a whole lot to light. So go ahead.
It says, they shall not mark themselves between their eyes, nor set a mark upon their heads. So, like, we have Indian people that do that.
Oh, they sure do. The dot.
Mm-hmm.
They have the dot there.
Yep.
And don't do something, put on their eyes.
Oh, no. Nor set mark upon their heads, nor cut away any corners of the beards, nor make an incision in their flesh. So, like, no tattoos, no cutting yourselves, like you were talking about, ritual-wise. But that dawned on me about they put marks between their eyes. I don't know what their God is. But
Well, what's supposed to be between our eyes? What's supposed to be
frontlets
between our
Frontlets
eyes?
between your eyes.
So it would be the opposite of having the commands there. It would be doing something to honor the dead or the nation
Yes.
in that spot where he should be.
Oh, it's replacing Yah's place with a dot or a mark or a tattoo. Yes. Good point.
I'm sorry, Seth, where was that at in the Targum?
it's in paragraph 1.
Thank you.
That's all I got for you. Verse 5.
Yes, ma'am.
So about like the incisions in the flesh, does that mean like a shot or something?
It wouldn't be a shot. It would be literally, they would take a knife and slit their flesh.
Yeah.
And, you know, we have something today. What is that called? When kids cut themselves.
Depression. That's usually
Suicide?
So,
for like young people when they have depression and stuff.
To soothe the
but there's a
Self harm. Hey, get in here! Don't you go down
what's
the
it
stairs.
called? Are they called cutters?
Yeah.
They're called cutters.
Right.
And
Go.
I had one young girl tell me that in order to take away the pain in here, she would cause pain on her arm. And so it was like a transfer of the pain that would be internal. And so John says don't do that. That's what the pagans do. And listen, when Elijah killed all the prophets of Baal,
yeah.
what were they doing?
Cut themselves.
They were cutting themselves. It was like a bloody mess over there. They were whacking themselves and cutting themselves. There was blood going everywhere. And they still didn't wake up their little G God, did they?
Some extreme sects of Catholicism will perform what's called physical penance on themselves.
Yeah, where they beat themselves.
Yeah.
Huh?
They'll beat themselves with like ropes with knots in
yeah,
them.
they will.
I thought you said eat themselves.
That would be
worse.
that would be punishment, wouldn't it, if you ate yourself? Yeah. You know, there is a law in the Talmud that says, is it the Talmud or the Noahide laws, which we are not under, guys, but in the Noahide laws it says don't eat the meat of a living animal. So don't go up to a horse or a cow or whatever and cut part of the hind quarter off while it's still living and leave it alive and then go eat. So it's saving the animal, but I don't know what it would be saving him for. Okay, verse 6. No, we're in verse 7. So he's being very... Listen, guys, I've been called a legalist. So have y'all. I've been called Jewish. So have y'all. We're neither. But I'm going to tell you something. We do follow our Father's instructions to live a perfect life. Are we able to live a perfect life? No, we fail all the time. but we strive. I don't even know where I was going with that. The little clicking of heels over there. Verse 7. Oh, where I was going with that is our Father is very specific how He wants things done. And one good example of that was Nadab and Abihu. They came before Yah. They came before him. The Talmud says they came before him drunk. But besides that, they were not commanded to do what they did, and they brought strange fire. They took the ashes from the fire itself. That was not what they were supposed to do. That is a good example of what happens when you come before Yah or you approach Yah in the wrong manner. He's got a set of rules, and we are expected to follow them. Okay, even though they're back there in the Old Testament, we just went through scriptures this morning to understand why the Old Testament is so important. Okay, verse 7. They do not take a woman who is a whore or a defiled woman, and they do not take a woman put away from her husband, for he is set apart to Elohim. And you shall set him apart, man. And you shall set him apart, for he brings the bread of your Elohim. He is set apart to you, for I, Yahuah, am setting you apart, am set apart. And when the daughter of any priest profanes herself by whoring, she profanes her father, and she is burned with fire. Okay, so guys, listen up. What is the punishment for adultery? Because this is what they're talking about. What is the punishment?
Burning with fire?
No, it's not. That's why
drinking a bitter.
That's a test for a disloyal wife. But the punishment for adultery would be a stoning.
Yeah.
That would be stoning
Okay.
them to death. I want you to look at Genesis 38. And Seth, would you do me a favor?
Mm-hmm.
Would you pull up, I believe it's Jubilees?
Yep.
And I was thinking it was in Yasher. Genesis 38:29. Genesis 38:29. In Genesis 28:39, it says, "And it came to be as he drew back his hand that is not what I'm looking for. Tomorrow, here it is. It's not 29. It is 24. And I'm sorry, the lighting here is so bad. My eyes are not good. In 24, in 38:24, in Jubilees, I want you to find where who Tamar belonged to.
Ooh,
Okay, I want spiritual proof. I want scriptural proof. Okay, in 24 it said it came to be about 3 months after that Yehudah was informed, saying, Tamar, your daughter-in-law has whored, and see, she has conceived by whoring. And Yehudah said, bring her out and let her be burned. It's Yasher 45:23 is where it is. So the punishment for a priest's daughter is the burning. Yehudah thought that she had been disloyal. She had profaned herself by whoring. He's bringing on the punishment that we're reading about over here, burning the daughter of a priest. But in Yasher 45:23, read for us, Seth.
In those days, Yehudah went to the house of Shem and took Tamar, the daughter of Elam, the son of Shem, for a woman for his firstborn heir.
Aha. So, Yehudah took Tamar from Shem's son. Shem was what? He was a high priest.
Yep.
In fact, he was the Melchizedek. He was the high priest, which means his firstborn son would be the high priest, which means that Tamar would have been the daughter of a priest, which means her punishment for adultery would have been to be burned. But of course we know she didn't get burned because she had proof that it was Yehudah that had done this to her. So, along comes Perez, and who was the other one? She has twins from that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one.
And and Onan died.
Huh?
Wasn't it and Onan that got killed?
The other husband?
Yeah.
Oh yes, her first two
Yep.
husbands,
Yep.
and it was the third son of Judah that she was supposed to be marrying. Okay. So the high priest among his brothers, on whose head the anointing oil was poured, and who is ordained to wear the garments, does not unbind his head. nor tear his garments, nor come near any dead body, nor defile himself for his father or his mother, nor go out of the set apart place, nor profane the set apart place of his Elohim, for the sign of dedication of the anointing oil of his Elohim is upon him. I am Yahuah. The anointing oil is very important, guys. Do y'all know who else was anointed prior to his
David.
death?
Prior to his death.
Yahusha. That's right, Yahusha. Look at John 19:24, and someone pull up Matthew 26:15. That may be wrong. That may be the wrong verse. Matthew 26:15.
Page
951. Yeah, that was the wrong. Oh, here it is. I'm going to read Matthew, and then would you read the other verse for me?
1924.
Yes, I believe. John 19:24. But, okay, and I'm in 26:5. But they said, not at the festival, lest there be an uproar among the people. So they were already devising on how they were going to capture him. And when Yahusha was in Beth Anya at the house of Shimon the leper, a woman came to him, having an alabaster flask of costly perfume, and she poured it on his head as he sat at the table. And when his taught ones saw it, they were much displeased, saying, to what purpose is this waste? For this perfume could have been sold for much and given to the poor. However, when Yahusha noticed it, he said to them, why do you trouble the woman? For she has done a good work toward me. For you always have the poor with you, but me, you do not always have. What does yours say?
So they said to each other, let us not tear it. It's talking about cast the lots.
Okay, keep going.
But cast lots for who it shall be, in order that the scripture might be filled, which says, they divided my garments among them, and for my clothing they cast lots. The soldiers therefore indeed did this.
Guys, who did tear his linen garment when Yahusha was before him? Caiaphas. Caiaphas, the high priest, ripped his linen garment, opening the way for Yahusha, the high priest who had just been anointed, to step in and take his place. He died the high priest. Is that not amazing? How y'all, because on that day, now, it was not a forever, you're no longer a high priest. He was unclean, he was defiled until that night. Caiaphas defiled himself. He could have no part. He was not the high priest when Yahusha was sacrificed. Yahusha was. He was anointed, and his garments were not torn, even after his death. Because the soldiers were gambling for his linen garment, and they said, we will not tear it. We'll gamble for it whole, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I find that this is just fascinating. When you know the front of the book and you link it with the back of the book, guys, you see the fullness and the richness of what is taking place. So our Messiah was the high priest, and guess where he is now? He's in the heavens, in the Holy of Holies, and he is our high priest. Hi, Joshua. These kids are so beautiful. Okay, now we're in 13. And let him take a wife in her maidenhood, a widow or one put away, or a defiled woman or a whore. These he does not take, but a maiden of his own people he does take as a wife. And he does not profane his offspring among his people, for I am Yahuah, who sets him apart. And Yahuah spoke to Moshe, saying, speak to Aaron, saying, no man of your offspring throughout their generations who has any defect is to draw near to bring the bread of his Elohim. Guys, is this not I think this is beautiful, because no man could draw near. And listen, they didn't bring a blemished sacrifice. It had to be a perfect lamb or a perfect goat or a perfect bull. No blemishes. Just perfect. And so the men drawing near to him had to be perfect too. I mean, like, listen to this. Any man who has a defect is not to draw near, a man blind or one lame or disfigured or deformed, a man who has a broken foot or a broken hand. Some of the scriptures actually say a flat nose.
Do you think that's true?
I believe every word of the scriptures. Wait, what does it say in the Targum?
It says,
It
who
says-
bath its effusion of whiteness and darkness in his eyes, who hath dry scurvy, or who is full of blotches of Egypt, or who his testicles are swollen or shrunk.
You didn't talk about the
Yes.
eyelids.
The eyelids.
Is that one you can want to share with us?
No hair.
His
on the
eyelids
eyelids.
cover his
So
eyes.
no hair on the
He's
eyelids,
overgrown, a
or
dwarf.
overgrown, or
Hair.
if you've got overgrown hair on your eyelids, or if you're a dwarf.
Who has hair on their eyelids?
We do?
We've got
Oh,
eyelashes.
eyelashes. So you can't have hair on your eyelashes?
No, it says overgrown.
Like into your eye grown. Like,
Like how Chloe's was.
Like those girls running around with fake lashes?
okay, those were like.
It sounds more like they're just overgrown to the point that you can't even see through them. Is what it sounds like. Does it say anything else that you want to share with us?
No, it's
Okay.
pretty much
Well,
it.
the priests and stuff would have had to have been both physically, we would have been physically clean and almost perfect like the animals were
To draw
go
near.
before and
That's
draw near. And that was
exactly
their job. They had to. It's not a personal thing. Like somebody was born this way, Yahweh knew they were born this way, even if they're in the line of the priest.
Yeah, it
It's
doesn't
not like
make
they
them
did-
unclean.
No, it doesn't. It's not like they did anything wrong.
Mm-hmm.
It's just for their own protection, they can't draw near to this specific place because it's
Well,
not
and
going to be
it's-
good for them.
And not only that, but also if you're slitting the
does this-
throats and
Yeah.
carrying the carcasses of the animals, you're going to have to be physically fit. So, I mean, like here it says you can't be a hunchback, you can't be a dwarf, or a man who has a defect in his eye,
But
or
how does this
eczema.
also, like the metaphors of all this stuff towards your walk, like when it talks about lame in foot or deformed in hand or, broken foot, broken hand, hunchback or dwarf, so somebody who's not standing upright, as that would apply to somebody's actions. That's how you can apply that to your life.
Well, and I'm going to tell you something, guys. So, when they were in the wilderness, supposedly there was no sickness, there was no illness, because there was obedience to Torah.
Well, except when he struck them with plagues for their murmuring and stuff.
Well,
like
that was, they didn't come down with it, though. He struck them. So here, I mean,
Wow.
yeah. I lost my train of thought again. Too much garlic.
Blame it on the
Josh, are you
garlic.
sleepy?
I'm blaming it on the garlic.
I love
So, guys, listen. So, kind of going along with what Charles is talking about, the curse of a man or a woman goes down to the third or fifth generation, right? So, the curse, and what Charles is saying is spiritually, our spiritual walk comes out generally in our physical body. So, if there's a problem spiritually, your walk may be very crooked. And especially if you're a priest and you've got these issues, you can't. First of all, you can't be a priest. You can't come near to Yah. So, okay, you couldn't be a eunuch either, but I find it very interesting because over in Ezekiel, he actually says that the eunuchs will draw near, and those who are honoring Shabbat will not only draw near, but they will be in his temple daily. So, I find that fascinating. Okay, 21. No man among the offspring of Aharon the priest who has a defect is to come near to bring the offerings made by fire to Yahweh. He has a defect, and he does not come near to bring the bread of his Elohim. He does eat the bread. So Yahweh is very merciful. He says, though you can't come near me, you can still eat. You're still part of the family. You can eat the bread. You're still set apart. You can still work. They can still work. They can still carry guard. They could do things like this. They just could not approach him with the sacrifices. Okay, only he does not go near the veil or approach the slaughter place because he has a defect, lest he profanes my set apart place. For I am Yahweh who sets him apart. Thus Moshe spoke to Aharon and his sons and to all the children of Israel. So we're giving the priest the orders right here. Then we're going into a little bit more on leprosy. And we're in 22:1. And Yahuah spoke to Moshe, saying, Speak to Aharon and his sons, that they separate themselves from the set-apart offerings of the children of Israel, and that they do not profane my set-apart name in what they set apart to me. I am Yahuah. Say to them, any man of your offspring throughout your generations who draws near the set-apart offerings which the children of Israel set apart to Yahuah, while he has uncleanness upon him, that being shall be cut off from me, and I am Yahuah. So if you're unclean, if you've been defiled by a dead person, this is why they always had two priests. One as a backup for the festivals, the other is ready to do the festivals. But if for some reason he's standing there and John Doe drops dead right next to him, he is unclean. He's at that very moment, he's been made unclean to May, and he cannot perform the festivals or the rites.
Who's John Doe?
That's my question.
It's just a name, just a
It's
common name for a man.
It's a name for someone that has no name.
Like
Yeah,
Jane
if they
Doe.
have a dead person at the morgue who they don't know who it is, they call it John Doe or Jane Doe
Uh-huh.
if it's a boy or a girl.
Doll, right there.
These days, never mind.
Oh, don't go there.
Pronouns.
Don't be going there. Them, there, that.
Zim, Zer, Zat.
Is that
That's
Zip?
one of them.
Zim, Zer, and Zat?
I have been asked to call somebody Zay, Zim, Zib, Zib, Zib before. And I was
They
like,
can't make
this
you
is
call them
my
anything.
house.
Yeah, they can't make you call them anything. They can't. I mean,
It was
Great.
one of Haley's friends, and she asked me to do that before he got out. I was like, I'm not doing that. I don't treat him any different than anybody else that comes over. But I'm not. I don't really feel like doing that. I'm not keeping that all straight. I will do maybe the they thing. If you want to be called they, maybe.
I won't even go that far. You know what? I understand what y'all created you as, and you look like a little boy. I'm going to call you a little boy. And if you're thinking you're a little girl, I'm going to call you a very confused little boy. But I don't have to do what they're telling me to do, because I don't fall in their jurisdiction, and they're not going to tell me what to call them. They don't need to be around me if they want to be called something
I've
special.
been called way worse than she before. And I'm just saying, like,
Yeah.
there's a lot worse things to be called, and don't even really worry about those things. So
Yeah.
We've got some parents with some issues allowing the children to make choices that they are too young to be able to make.
regardless of all that, though, like, people shouldn't worry so much about people's words. Your feelings should not get so hurt by words. We should be much more worried about actions.
And conviction.
Where it is literally the time and the day that we are living in, and people are offended at everything. You can look at somebody wrong, you're offended. See, I just offended her because I didn't smile as I looked that direction.
You just look at me.
I don't know.
She didn't even smile at me. Okay.
Now everyone's offended. I'm going to talk to you, Charles.
Awesome.
They. I'll call you they, okay?
I'm plural now.
Okay, 41.
I'm scared.
Or 4.
I'm sorry.
And this is scary because I've got to get new glasses. That's it. Any man of the offspring of Aharon who is a leper or has a discharge does not eat of the set-apart offerings until he is clean. And whoever touches what is rendered unclean by a being or a man who has had an emission of semen, or a man who touches any swarming creature by which he would be made unclean, or any being by whom he would become unclean, even any of his uncleanness. The being who has touched it shall be unclean till evening, and does not eat the set-apart offerings, but shall bathe his body in water. You know, it's a very simple thing of cleansing, but you are unclean. You can't go near the altar or the veil until after the evening. It would be the next day, wouldn't it? When evening comes, it's the next day. Yep. What?
You know my brain.
I'm afraid I do.
I'm just thinking like, I'm trying to figure out how to apply this to my life today.
Oh, wow, yes.
How can I be, because he doesn't change. So he probably expects, even though we're not priests, he probably expects the same type of
Of course.
dedication and obedience. I guess that's it. The obedience.
He
of them.
does expect the obedience. However, there is no temple. And
Right.
so these are good things to know, because if once we get into the millennial, if we're going to, well, first of all, we won't be able to go in to that area. So,
What were you saying applying to your life?
Just-
Which verse? What were we talking about exactly?
Just all of this, like making sure how ritually clean
Oh, the
that they
temple
were.
stuff, the temple cleaning.
Yeah, like I know I can't.
Well, it's the same concept as, like, it talks about in Deuteronomy. I just went over this today. Deuteronomy. I have to find the chapter. It talks about when a king, when you say you want a king, we put a king on the throne, and you have a king. That king shall write his own copy of the Torah and shall read it daily. It's that same thing. Like, we're not a kingdom of priests and kings yet, but it's something we have an expectation of. So when we walk this out with integrity, we can have an expectation of that, and so we should be preparing for those things. And with the clean and unclean, there's also like things you should touch and not touch for just the sake of your own health.
Right.
And then,
well, yeah, and the law of touching even the dead carcasses of a pig
yeah,
would still stand. You can't even touch the dead carcass
Where
of
is
a
that?
pig. It's in, I believe it's in Leviticus.
Yeah,
I believe it's in 11. So, I mean, that's not even being a priest. Let me pull that up. That's not even being a priest. Only these you do not. Okay, their flesh you do not eat, and their carcass you do not touch. And that's in chapter 11 of Leviticus, verse 8. So, if it's unclean, you don't even touch it when it's dead. So there are rules for the populace. There are rules for the priest. And so the priest rules, those are rules that we do need to know, because in the millennium, we could possibly be priests. And if you are, you need to know what is expected of you.
I wasn't saying I enjoy learning about what he asked the priest to do, because I feel like, again, it was just them striving in obedience and cleanliness to draw near to him and to do the things he asked them to do.
Absolutely.
I feel like we can do those same types of obedience. Sorry.
I feel like it would be the scariest thing to be like a priest.
Really?
Yeah, because you have so many responsibilities.
but you're trained.
Yeah, you
for
are trained.
Years. I think you would have been trained. Well, you would have.
You would have grown up.
You would have grown up
in the
because it's a
temple.
bloodline, for one thing. So you would have grown up most of your life knowing, but I think your official training starts at 20, and you would have become a priest at 30. So it's
Yeah.
10 years of training, plus your first 20 years of your life knowing you're going to be. So they probably prepare you for it then too. Yeah, I mean, you got a lot of training, so they're
It
very
would be
well
an honor.
versed.
It would be a huge honor.
They're very well versed before.
And of course, it won't be that all of the Aaronic heirs will not be priests in the millennial. It will only be from I think it's his great grandson. Is it his great grandson of Zadok? So the priest will be the Aaronic Zadok tribe.
That's so cool.
Okay, everybody good?
Mm-hmm.
Thank you so much, Charles. So we're all good with the discharges and leprosy and all that? Okay. Okay, verse 7 of 22, and when the sun goes down, he shall be clean, and afterward eat the set apart offerings, because it is his food. And I think this is another really good example that once the sun goes down, it's another day. The day is done, you're into the next day. He does not eat that which dies or is torn by beast, becoming unclean by it. I am Yahuah, and they shall guard my charge, lest they bear sin for it and die thereby when they profane it. I, Yahuah, set them apart. Again, these are specifically for the priest, and we're not to listen. If we were to eat something that had been killed by being torn apart, then we would be unclean until nightfall. Other things that are not food you can give, to the strangers. that are dwelling in the city. It tells us that we can do that. So,
In the Targums, it has something kind of interesting. It says, they shall observe the keeping of my word, that they may not bring sin upon themselves, nor die for it by the flaming fire, because they have profaned it. I'm the Lord who sanctified
oh,
them.
the flaming fire on the altar.
Yeah, yes. And
Wow.
that's kind of.
You got something.
Mm-hmm. That's the same thing.
Okay.
I didn't know if you were gonna say it. My bad.
Nope.
That's how you get pinworms.
Yeah.
I like that. We probably all gonna have pinworms here. So these were my favorite pen, and now everybody's favorite pen. So now we're all chewing on the ends. And is that mine or yours?
No, it's mine.
This tastes like yours.
It's fine.
Sorry, I'm sidetracked.
They like the ones that.
They come from pins. They're in the ink, and they get inside your.
That's not true.
It's not.
She's lying to him. Charles,
It's
false word.
It's a type of worm that like the things can live on the hands, like the various things, and they can get on other things you're touching, and they end up on pins because people aren't usually washing their hands and being all clean around the pins they use, and they chew on them, and it gets in you. Yeah.
I'm changing this subject. I'm like, I'm panicking now. I'm
pinworm is going on.
having a pinworm attack over here.
What verse are you in?
We are on verse 9. And so, listen, guys. And they shall guard my charge, lest they bear sin for it and die thereby. When they profane it, Yahuah set them apart. And no stranger eats the set apart offering. A sojourner with the priest or a hired servant does not eat the set apart offering. But when the priest buys a bean with his silver, he does eat of it. Because then there's an ownership. You're part of the family. If I've bought you, you're part of the family, right? And one who is born in his house, he does eat of it. And when a priest's daughter is married to a stranger, she does not eat of the set apart offering. So basically, the priest's family, the whole family, eats of this offering. If the daughter marries and goes on about her life, she goes to her husband's house and she no longer eats the set apart meal. But if she becomes a widow or she's put out and she has no child, and this is really interesting to me. Okay, and here's exactly what it says in 13. But when a priest's daughter is a widow or put away, and she has no child, and has returned to her father's house, as in her youth, she does eat of her father's food, but no stranger eats of it. So it would appear to me, if she had a child, it would be more the reason to return because she needs more help in taking care of them, right?
When Deuteronomy 25:5. It says, when the brothers dwell together and one of them has died and has no son, the widow of the dead man shall not become a stranger outside. Her husband's brother goes in to her and shall take her as his own wife and perform duty of a husband's brother to her.
So that would be like a widow. So here it would be her brother, her husband's. Of course, this is her father's family.
Well,
I mean, this is a priestly family, so I don't know if that would apply to a priest
that's
daughter or
what
not.
I'm here. It's about wedded into a brother-in-law. I'm on ahead, didn't I?
Yeah, it's in next week's report.
No.
No, I'm kidding. Okay, and when have you got some more?
No.
And when a man eats the set apart offering by mistake, then he shall give set apart offering to the priest and add a fifth to it. So this is exactly like if he had stolen something. The penalty is adding a fifth back to it on top of what he took.
Also, if you borrow from your tithe, because back then travel would have taken a while. They would have given the tithe at unleavened bread and at Sukkot. And if they had to borrow from their tithe, you did the same thing. You had to return it with a fifth. But it's kind of neat that it's kind of like Yahweh's bank. Like, okay, you got your tithe set aside, so if there is an emergency, you can borrow from it, but you got to pay back 1/5.
That's a high interest rate.
It is.
I mean, that would be 25%. Well, it'd be 20%.
Yeah, it's 20%. So it teaches you. I mean, because automatically. For 2 years, you're taking out 20% of your income, and then on the third year, you're taking out 30% of your income. So that right off the bat is teaching you to pay attention to your money, and then it'll make you think twice is this really an emergency before you borrow from it?
Absolutely.
But it's very orderly. I love it.
Everything that Yah does is in perfect order if we keep with it. But we don't want to keep with it, do we? We want to do things our own way. So if we could do things the way He has set it out, it would be perfect. It would be a perfect world if everyone did it, wouldn't it?
Mm-hmm.
It would be like, heaven. Okay, 15. And let the priest not profane the set apart offerings of the children of Israel, which they lift up, or allow them to bear the crookedness of trespass when they eat their set apart offerings, for I am Yahweh who sets them apart. So think about this. You may have brought the perfect lamb to them as a sacrifice. If they do not treat it properly in making that sacrifice and offering it up, they bring about crookedness. They're bearing the crookedness of trespass. Isn't that interesting? And Yahweh spoke to Moshe, saying, speak to Aharon and his sons and to all the children of Israel, and say to them, any man of the house of Israel or of the strangers in Israel who brings his offering for any of his vows or for any of his voluntary offerings, which they bring to Yahweh as an ascending offering for your acceptance, it has to be a male, a perfect one from the cattle, from the sheep, or from the goat. Whatever has a defect, you do not bring, for it is not acceptable for you. And when a man brings a slaughtering of peace offerings to Yahweh to complete a vow or a voluntary offering from the cattle or sheep, it is to be perfect, to be accepted. Let there be no defect in it. Would you pull up Malachi 1, 6 through 7? Thank you. So everything brought to Yah has to be perfect, without a blemish. You got it? Almost?
Yeah.
It's probably easier to find on the phone than it is in the Bible.
It is.
Okay, go ahead. Okay, go ahead.
You said 167.
Uh-huh.
A son esteems his father, and a servant his master. And if I am the father, where is my esteem? And if I am a master, where is my fear? Said Yahuah of hosts. To you priests who despise my name. But you asked, in what way have we despised your name? You are presenting defiled food upon my slaughter place, but you asked, in what way have you defiled me? Or in what way we defiled you?
I love that even Yeshua, because we know that's Yeshua speaking in the Old Testament.
Mm-hmm.
Even he's sarcastic.
Yeah, he is. I like what he says on the rest of this.
Because you say the table of Yahuah is despicable.
Keep going.
And when you present the blind as a slaughtering, is it not evil? And when you present the lame sick, is it not evil? Bring it to your governor. Would he be pleased with you?
Carry it to your president.
Your favorability?
Yeah, carry it to your president. Carry it to the mayor of your town as an offering. Carry it to someone else and see what they're going to say if you bring a blind
What does
or
that
a
break
lame
down to
sacrifice.
In our lives, though, is when we try to do it our way.
Mm-hmm.
Or even more so, what applies to that better is being lazy about keeping his word, about keeping his covenant.
Yeah, even in our praise and our worship, we need to do it the way he's told us to do it, with respect and honor. 22, those blind or broken or cut or having an ulcer or an eczema, even a sore on its outside or even a scab, you do not bring to Yahweh or make an offering by fire of them on the slaughter place. As for a bull or a lamb that has any limb deformed or dwarfed, you do not prepare as a voluntary offering, but for a vow, what does it say? It's not, is that
Not
what it says?
accepted. Did you got too much writing on your page?
I do.
It's not accepted. It's because
For a vow, yes.
yeah.
But now, as a voluntary donation, you could do that. It doesn't say that here.
Yeah.
But if it's not for a vow or a sacrifice for sin or an ascending offering, if it's not a sacrificial offering, you can donate it to the Levitical cause just as a donation. So even if it's marred, you can still bring it as a donation. His cowboy boots. Do not bring to Yahweh what is bruised or crushed or torn or cut, nor do it in your land. And from a son of a stranger's hand you do not bring any of these as the bread of your Elohim, for their corruption is in them, and defects are in them, and they are not acceptable for you. So from a stranger, if a stranger comes and they give you a lamb or a sheep, you can't carry these as offerings to Yah, because he says that their what? Their corruption is in them. That's right. Does Targum say anything specific about that?
It says that from the hand of the sons of the Gentiles, you shall not offer the oblation or sacrifice to Yahuah or any of those.
Okay, and you know why that could be? Think about it. If you've got Gentiles and they're raising these animals, what are they feeding them? They could be feeding them unclean things, and you can't take it could look like a perfect sheep or a perfect bull, but you can't take a perfect bull from a stranger without knowing. Doesn't matter what you know from him or her, you still can't take it and carry it to Yah, because the corruption is in it. What, Valerie?
Just that whole sentence. I mean, they are profane.
They're profane. They're Gentile.
They're blemishes.
They're not.
Their corruption's inside of them.
Yeah. So these are Gentiles who are not under the covenant, and they don't know Yah's rules. We have Gentiles today. They brag about being Gentiles. They do not know the covenant. They don't know it because they've been told they don't have to know it because it's obsolete. Guys, we're here today. We have the Gentiles bringing unclean things to the altar of Yah's house. And it's not even really Yah's house, but bowing down, praying. Listen, if you're not under the covenant, even your prayers are an abomination with him, to him.
It's
He's not listening
rebellious.
to him.
It's the corruption. Him talk about it being in them. It's rebellious because you try to talk to them or even just mention that's not true. We're not under that. We don't have to do that anymore. That's only for the Jews.
Who has to call them? What does John say?
Abba has to.
Abba has to call them. So sometimes, and I've had to learn this. I don't talk unless someone asks.
Right.
I will share openly, and if they don't ask any more questions, I'm silent, because they really don't care.
Yeah.
And they really haven't been called. So if Yah calls them, they're going to be curious. They're going to be like, so why are you studying on Saturday? I mean, Sunday's the day of Yah, huh?
They'll lead the conversation.
Yeah.
Based on it.
They will, if they're curious. If they're not, and you start talking, and they don't care, and they shut you off real fast.
Yeah.
And sometimes very rudely. I'm like, I was just trying to share good stuff with you. The good news, like Joel, like Paul. Okay, this is interesting. So, and Yahweh spoke to Moshe, saying, when a bull or sheep or goat is born, it shall be 7 days with its mother, and from the 8th day and thereafter it is acceptable as an offering made by fire to Yahweh. So for 7 days, this mother gets to enjoy her baby. And on the 8th day, which is the same day that the young male child is circumcised, on that same day, that little bull or goat or sheep can be offered up as a burnt sacrifice. Do you see something in there? Do you?
You were just reading verse 27?
I was.
There's a little bit in the Targum about the honoring of those before.
Okay.
I don't know if you want to go into that, but
The honoring of those, what?
well, it's talking about so coming off of verse 26,
Uh-huh.
talking about the the offering, and it says a sheep is to be chosen secondly in memory of the righteousness of him who was bound as a lamb on the altar,
Oh,
who
wow.
stretched forth his neck for thy name's sake, while the heavens stooped down and condescended, and Yishak beheld their foundations, and his eyes were blinded by the high things, on which account he was reckoned to be worthy that a lamb should be provided for him as a burnt offering. A kid of the goats is to be chosen likewise, a memorial of the righteousness of that perfect one who made the savory meat of the kid, and brought it to his father, and was made worthy to receive the order of the blessing. Wherefore Moshe the prophet explained it, saying, Sons of Israel, my people.
Oh, my goodness.
This is what I was reading a minute ago. I was trying to
That
find
is
out where
pretty
you're at on here.
amazing. I mean, that's a lot more. So the bull or the sheep or the goat is going into how really important and special they are.
Right, in memory of.
In
And
the
I think
memory.
in a minute, it's going to bring up. There was another one that I read, and it went along with these two for another offering. So when we get there, we'll. I
Wow.
just thought that was really awesome. The way he talked about what happened with Yishak. His eye, you know, about how he beheld the foundations of heaven. And that's in that moment.
And he was
Complete
blinded.
sacrifice.
Wow.
Yep.
I
Tired?
wanted
No.
to say.
No, I was
throw
like,
something
I was
at me.
underlining that, like right when you were saying that. It's good.
Okay, 29. That was good. And when you slaughter a slaughtering of thanksgiving to Yahweh, slaughter it for your acceptance. Why? Because you're going to eat it. Right? You're slaughtering it. You're saying, thank you. You get to eat that with the priest. It is eaten that same day. Leave none of it till morning. I am Yahweh, and you shall guard. Guys, over and over and over again, he says, and you shall guard my commands and do them. I am Yahweh. Which commands? All of them.
That's why.
That's right. I mean, we shouldn't be concerned about, well, which ones do we not have to follow? Well, which ones do you not want to follow? I mean, if he's giving you instructions and commands that are going to protect you and bless you and help you walk as Yahushua walked, which ones do you not want to follow? What part of it? Do you want to be unclean? Do you want to eat things that are not going to prolong your life or build your body up for the service unto Yah? Do you want to go steal from your neighbor? Or maybe you want to not honor Shabbat or not honor your parents. Which one of them do you want to do away with? No.
Well,
Where are we? Look
I had
at
a
ourselves.
conversation with somebody. They always like to say that's Old Testament stuff. That's the Old Testament. Okay. So the Ten Commandments, keep those, right? Yeah. Keep them. Okay, so but they're in the Old Testament. Yeah. Okay. So but the law is done away with. So so the Ten Commandments are done away with too. That's part of the law. So I'm gonna come over. I'm gonna rape your wife, kill her, steal some stuff from you.
Yeah,
That's cool though, right?
I'm going to come rob you.
There's
and
no
kill your
law.
family. Nope.
That's in the law too.
Mm-hmm.
He does the Ten Commandments. They say, hold on, we're scared, we're gonna die. Which I have an interesting thing on that, but that's another thing. And then immediately after they say, speak to you speak to him, Moshe, and then we'll listen from you. Then he just keeps going.
Mm-hmm.
They only stop because they don't want to hear it directly. But the law
they were
continues
no
being
longer
given.
responsible for it. If you didn't hear with your own ears and Moshe's hearing, you're not responsible.
Interesting thing though is it says the word used is shema when it says if we hear.
We'll have to obey.
Yeah, hold on. They say, and all the people saw you speak to him, you speak with us, and we'll hear and do, we'll shema, but let not Elohim speak with us lest we die. And it says, so I think I did a thing on this, but I think what they're really saying is we know that shemaing the word, like hearing and doing what he says, kills the flesh. And I have a whole thing on that.
Yes.
And they weren't ready for certain parts of their flesh to die yet.
Yeah, we studied that when we did the commandments. Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's an ongoing thing, but
But
you have.
the word itself kills the flesh. The very word kills the flesh. And that's beautiful when you understand that hearing the word kills the flesh. And it brings about the spiritual. Oh, him got him your water. Okay, 32. And do not profane my set apart name. I shall be set apart among the children of Israel. I am Yahweh who set you apart, who brought you out of the land of Mitzrayim to be your Elohim. I am Yahweh. And now we come to 23. And I know you don't even want to hear this. 23.
Just pass it.
Listen, guys. So the title of this lesson is, have you ever wondered what are Yah's festivals that He's commanded us to do? Or are there any? Because most people live as if there are no festivals that He commanded except for
Christmas.
Ashtar.
Ashtar. What else?
Halloween.
What? Come on, you can get Thanksgiving.
Yep.
Valentine's Day.
Birthdays.
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 Speaking of birthdays,
Is it your birthday?
No, not today, but almost.
On the 4th of May. May the 4th. be
Back to the
the
ninth.
So guys, listen, we're just going to look at Yah's appointed times. These are his feasts. These are the ones that he says, you do these. These are forever man-made. You don't get to skip them. And I'm going to tell you, I'm just going to tell you right now, we're not going to hear Christmas, Easter, Ishtar, Valentine's Day. Listen, Valentine's Day has even got the Babylonian little G god of Tammuz, the little baby Cupid-looking god, little fat legs and
baby.
yeah, little baby Tammuz.
You got a chubby belly.
Yes,
It's Mother's Day. Okay.
Oh, Mother's Day.
Because I was about to get a gift for Bethany and I wanted to see.
Or my mom.
Anything that's not celebrating Yahuah is not. If it's not commanded, we don't celebrate it. And it
Sorry
is what it
about
is.
your
So
luck.
anniversary can't be done either?
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry about your luck.
Anything you put before Yahuah.
So
Elevating yourself.
Yeah.
if you elevate anyone but Yah, then it's wrong, and it's sin in His eyes. So let's see what's not sin.
There you
So
go.
I've got Bethany crying back there. Seth's fixing to cry because he didn't get an anniversary gift.
I don't know.
No
Valerie's
more
gonna
beard oil.
cry. She doesn't get a birthday gift.
I don't
so,
want no birthday.
So guys, we don't celebrate birthdays.
We have the most amazing gift ever. Like, what else could you want?
Listen, the Torah is our
I
gift.
mean, I'm just kidding. But no, I mean that is a side way. But we should honor our mothers every day of the year. We should
That's right.
honor our
Yes.
spouses every day.
That
of
is
the
so
year.
true.
We should be grateful for our life every day of the year.
And so I watched this couple here, and she honors her husband
Yes.
every day, and he deserves it because he loves and takes good care
He's like,
of
where am I when
his
this happens?
family.
He
So-
deserves it now, kid.
Huh?
Yeah, you know what's up.
He's doing
I
that.
just made a joke.
That's some
Okay.
big boys. I heard it. You know what's up.
Let's get into Leviticus 23. I'm
Okay,
fixing to
let's
be in
talk
big
about
trouble.
appointed times.
Just look at his appointed times. 23:1. And guys, listen, this is the chapter where all of the festivals are actually listed. 23 verse 1. And Yahweh spoke to Moshe, saying, Speak to the children of Israel and say to them, The appointed times of Yahweh, which you are to proclaim as set apart gatherings, my appointed times are these. What did he just say? Whose festivals are
So
these?
it's the Jewish appointed time.
I was going to say, I don't see Jewish in here anywhere, do you? Whose are they?
Yes.
Yahweh's.
Of his children. Too.
They're his. He said, these are my appointed times, his appointed times. Guys, this doesn't have anything to do with the one tribe out of the 12 tribes of Yaakov. You got it? Whew. Scared me.
Well, it's an appointment with him. Like these, if we look at the secular holidays, they're appointments with other things or with other types of rituals, or these are his. Like this is an appointment to meet with him, to gather
These
for him.
festivals are all about him. They're all about Yahusha. They're all about honoring him and doing what he says, and not in the way we want to do it. It's in the way he wants to do it.
But when you do it, it is, and that's what I think people don't understand. They think about like these days, and some people get caught up in doing it right or doing it wrong. And when we did Passover this year, that was absolutely beautiful to know that we were doing what he wanted us to do.
We were doing it as he commanded, with everything that we thought and felt like we had read and studied that were supposed to be done. And it was beautiful. It was incredible.
I always tell people, if you think you enjoy Christmas or Easter, go do one feast day.
Yeah.
Just one feast day with a bunch of people serving.
With covenanted
Yes,
people,
covenanted people.
so that you can really get a good feel. So I want to point something out, because the very first appointed time that he comes about with is Shabbat. It's today. It's the Sabbath. Okay, so let's keep going, because I'm with Valerie. I love this chapter. Okay, verse 3. 6 days work is done, but the seventh day is a Sabbath of rest, a set apart gathering. You do no work. It is a Sabbath to Yahweh in all of your dwellings. Guys, this is a day that we assemble together and we study His Word. And I'm going to tell you something. I get up at least by 4 on the morning of Shabbat. And by the end of the day, I'm not even tired unless y'all feed me a lot of cake or pink cookies. That pink cookie was good. Or
I'm the
that pink
opposite. I
stuff.
get up at 4 a.m. every other day. I
Uh-huh.
sleep till about 9 on Saturday.
Oh, yes.
I do the opposite. I get my
I-
rest.
Yeah, I get up at 5 on the rest of the days. But listen, the Sabbath is for studying and coming together and
Do not forsake the assembling together of the congregation. It is a command.
it is a command.
Unless you are contagiously sick or just really sick in some way, you're supposed to be there. You can't be get up. I don't feel like going.
Yep.
Or what we face nowadays. I'm just gonna get up and live stream. I'm gonna watch the live stream today.
And
I
it
feel like
is-
Shabbating at home.
It's
What is-
easy, isn't it?
Mhm.
I mean, for a lot of people, it's just easier.
If you don't have a congregation, it's
Yes.
sure. But otherwise, do not forsake.
Well, and when I first started on this walk, I Sabbathed alone for several years. There was no one else out there to enjoy Shabbat with, and I would live stream and celebrate, and I'd praise and worship out by my pool with
The koi.
the koi weren't even there. It was actually still a pool. I had turned it into a koi pond, but I would praise and worship with what is his name? El Shaddai.
Bills.
El
Biltz.
Shaddai Ministry,
Mark Biltz.
Mark Biltz.
Yeah.
Yes.
Moses.
Gosh, that's been a long time ago. And, well, Moses wasn't even there then. Vicky, his wife, led the worship
Praise.
when I first started, and so yeah, it was.
Cool.
But guys, to be able to assemble with like-minded people studying His Word as deep as y'all study, this is a blessing. I mean, this is a blessing because to be solo. It's solo. No, I'm kidding. I still enjoyed it. In fact, for a lot of years, I missed being able to study and read and just devour His Word because that was my precious time. But now I love congregating. Okay, I'm back to liking it. Okay, so this is the first thing that He hits is His Sabbath. It's not the Sabbath of the Jews, it's Yah's Sabbath. These are the appointed times of Yahweh, set apart gatherings, which you are to proclaim at their appointed times. In the first new moon, and it's actually new month because it's italicized, on the 14th day of the new month, between the evenings, is the Pesach to Yahweh. And that's the one that Valerie said we just finished celebrating. And then we celebrated unleavened together, but we were also, it was such a beautiful day, and we were all so tired. We just gathered together and ate and prayed, and I think that's all we did that day, but it was a fun gathering.
Hold on.
So,
Love you guys. I told Tiffany to go home by 6.
oh man,
We have a broken kneecap. Her mom's got
Oh my
broken
gosh.
kneecap. Hey, Joshua.
her mother has a broken kneecap?
No, you're holding my hand.
Bye.
You're about to get in trouble. Hold on. Let me get a quick. David, start going up. Hold on to the bus.
Come here, buddy.
Yes, and she's not feeling well either, so I told her I'd be home by 6.
Is it Tiff that has the broken
No,
kneecap?
it's her mom.
Her mom, okay.
I love you. I'll see you later, okay?
Hey, Charles, thanks for coming. We enjoyed
Love
you.
y'all.
Love you.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Come on, buddy.
You're going way down there, but
Give me your hand.
see you later, buddy.
Love y'all.
She good.
Baby, you get some water, buddy?
Did he fall in the water?
He was wet when he got here. He's pretty sweaty.
Oh, y'all ready?
Okay, verse 6. And on the 15th day of this new moon is a festival of Mazot to Yahweh. 7 days you eat unleavened bread. On the first day you have a set apart gathering. You do no servile work, and you shall bring an offering made by fire to Yahweh for 7 days. On the 7th day is a set apart gathering, and you do no servile work. So I was listening to Rico Cortez yesterday, I believe, and he was talking about the fact that it literally takes 7 days to get leavening out of your system, which is kind of wild, isn't it? So once you get the leavening out, you're not really craving the leavening anymore. And I didn't. Did y'all? I'm still not eating bread. I'm just like, yeah, I don't really need it. So except for that pizza I ate yesterday.
Well, when I was eating it every day, I would
That was the pink
crave.
stuff.
I would crave that type of food all the time. I felt like I was always hungry. And now that it's been a few weeks of purposely trying not to eat those things, I don't feel like I crave it all the time.
So Shanna, you have changed her world. She made an amazing, what was it?
Pizza peppers.
Pizza peppers, but there was no pizza there.
It was
Oh,
inside the
pizza?
pepper.
Where's the pizza? I'll do the pizza.
And as far as that goes, we were joking about how it's been both. They've changed me as far as the things I'm putting in, and so it's been a two-way thing. The temple.
Guys, it is his people. It's his children. His children, we share with each other. We sharpen each other. One sword sharpens another.
Yes.
And that's the beauty behind a good assembly.
Right.
Everybody's sharpening each other and studying together. And I mean, my Targumite over here,
Hey, he keeps me in line all week. Like
that was scary.
it was crazy the other day. Something had happened at work, and I'm in there, and I felt like I had flame coming out of my ear, and then I get a message on my phone. It's like, take a deep breath. I think he could feel my radiation from his little back cave in there. I was like, it's everywhere we go, every day.
Well, and we're blessed because we have covenanted people to work with.
Yeah.
Not everyone here is covenanted.
It's like the only day that you can come today and choose not to be around sin.
Yes,
And it's like refreshing because you don't have to be around all that.
that's
You
right.
just set yourself apart being with your Father.
And guys, I don't think it's going to be long till we're going to be living in just covenanted communities because the way things are going, it's going.
Where am I?
Are you in trouble?
Yeah. Uh-oh. I don't care.
Honor your husband.
Love your
You
wife.
crawl underneath this table and go up to
No,
him
I was
over there.
saying this could be our house.
Oh, I thought you said go over here.
No, this could be our house.
I was like, I'm not crawling up under
Wait
there.
a minute, what is happening here?
Vicky'd be like, what the heck's going on?
Okay. So we got lots of things happening. We've had little midgets running about. They're not really midgets, but they look like midgets.
Dwarfs.
With their little dwarf cowboy boots on. Okay. So we're talking about Pesach. And guys, when Yahushua came the first time, he fulfilled the first four festivals, the feasts. So Passover, he was the Passover lamb. He died at exactly the same time as the lamb died. Unleavened bread, he was in the ground before the day of unleavened bread. He fulfilled that. He was our sin offering. First fruits, first to rise from the dead. That was our Messiah. He fulfilled that. And on Shabbat, which we are counting down to, and what is today? It's day 7 or 6.
Who knows?
Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, 7. Thought it was 7. What?
I'm thinking, I'm counting in my head.
So today's 7. So we're counting up to 49th day, and the next day, or actually 49th day at sunset, it is what? Shabbat. And that will be the celebration of the wheat. We'll have wheat. First fruits, we had the barley. By the end of Shabbat, the wheat will be ripe. And so we'll be waving the wheat. Woohoo! Like that.
Are we
Is
supposed
that
to gather?
the,
Huh?
Are we supposed to gather?
It's a commanded gathering. And we will gather probably at my house.
is that that time that we went to the Mahia Park?
Yes.
It was just me and you and the lighthouses.
There's your excitement.
I think so.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think so.
I think so. Yeah, I remember that. That was
Yeah.
fun. Yeah.
It was because we did we did Pesach, and then the next day was a Monday. Or no, it was a Tuesday. Yeah. Yep.
I wasn't on my walk back then.
Okay, so you weren't on the walk. That's right, but you still went with me.
No, I
I
wanted
wasn't on my.
to eat
He's so
pig.
grown.
So Grant, how long have you been on this walk? About a year and a half.
A year and 3/4.
About a year and 3/4.
That sounds like some Bethany stuff.
So a year and 9 months he's been on this walk.
A year and nine.
A year and
3 F's.
3 hours.
Yeah.
So for a year and 9 months he's been on this walk, and he's 14 years old. He's wearing his seats, and I'm telling you that I think Grant could probably get up here and teach. He is that studied, and his mom is doing so good, and his dad on teaching, and he gets involved in class. So he is an amazing young man, and I love having him in class. He's eating only what is called food in Leviticus 11, and he's just like a right hand, and so is Bailey. Bailey's the one that corrected me a while ago. Y'all weren't up here, but I was talking about the belief chapter in Hebrews. I said, 12. And she said, 11. And I was like,
Precise.
10.
No, I'm kidding.
huh?
9,
I mean,
8, 7, 6,
6,
5,
5,
4,
4,
3,
3, 2, 1.
Grant orders just bacon burgers without the bacon on it.
At Chili's.
can you cut the bacon from my just bacon burger? Okay, so guys, the first 4, he's already fulfilled. What does that mean? And see, this is what's so important, and this is why we need to be diligent about celebrating these festivals. If he fulfilled the first 4, it doesn't mean we stop celebrating. We keep celebrating to remember, because these are forever commandments, and you're going to see that. The last 4, what are they? Well, let's just keep going, and we'll read about it. Valerie, do you have anything that you wanted to ask about on any of these, or anything you want to add in?
I do have a question.
Okay,
First fruits.
first fruits.
What is it? When is it?
First fruits is the day that he rose,
Okay.
and it's the day he rose from the dead.
So it's not a day that we should do anything on.
Mm-mm.
Just knowing it.
Yes,
Today's the first fruits of Abraham's side.
that is right.
Okay.
And now it's during the Feast of Unleavened Bread, so already you're eating the unleavened bread in commemoration.
So you're purging the evil out of you, sin.
She doesn't have evil.
I'm
Look
talking
at
about
her.
us.
Oh, him.
We.
Well, and a cool fun fact, in the book of Jubilees, Noah and them celebrated
Yes.
Shavuot when
So-
they got off the ark.
Well,
Oh, yeah.
everything about Noah
Wait.
has everything to do with the Pesach, with
Yes.
unleavened bread, with first fruits. It's all.
It's always the same story, starting with Abraham.
That's
all
right.
Through.
So everything is cyclical. If it's happening now, it happened then. We just keep on celebrating it, and one day Messiah will come back and we'll celebrate the last 3. Now I call it 4 because Shemini Atzeret is part of Shabbat, and to me it's the 4th. But we're fixing to get to that. But it is important for us to be celebrating, because one day, and I tell you, one day, as we're all making a loud noise, that's what Yom Kippur is, to yell, to shout,
Can you imagine
the
that?
day of shouting. As we're shouting,
He's
our
gonna come.
Savior's going to come. We're going to look up in the clouds, and He's going to come back for us.
So isn't it neat that, well,
Oh,
I
Trish,
mean,
y'all.
last year we were looking towards the west. Can you imagine the feeling of, oh my gosh, him,
Wow. Okay,
and
so
like at your back, like I would stand like 1,000 feet tall right then.
so on Yom Teruah, the first sliver and sighting of the moon is always to the west on the horizon, always. So we're looking to the west, and He's coming from the east. So at the last trump, as that last trump is blown, and it's probably going to be when it's blown in Israel, but it's a 2-day festival. Do we know the day? No. Do we know the hour? Mm-mm.
Nope.
So
So we know the season.
we do know the season, because
Praise
we're
God.
those wise virgins.
Yes.
So we're always prepared. for his return. And when he comes back, what is Yom Teruah all about? It's the shouting, it's the announcing of the king. It's the coronation. Listen, it's the day of coronation for the king.
When is the one where the king is out in the field? Is that Shavuot?
That's before Yom Kippur. It's actually
Okay.
it's the month. It's the month of Elul.
Oh, that's it. Yeah.
Elul. It's the month of Elul, and it's the month before Yom Teruah. So for the whole month, it said that the king is in the field. This is the month to go and repent and get ready for 15 days later, after Yom Teruah, you've got Yom Kippur. It's the holiest day of the year. So you've got 30 days of
cleansing.
preparation, of cleansing and preparing. You've got Yom Teruah, then you've got 10 days, and you've got Yom Kippur. I'm sorry, I said 15 days. The 10th day of that 7th month is Yom Kippur, and it's the holiest day. So for 24 hours, you don't eat, you don't drink, you don't shower, you afflict yourselves. And you pray and repent. And one day, on Yom Kippur, the book will be closed forever. And that will be it.
That's scary.
It is very scary because we have to live like this next, well, we'll have a millennial before that Yom Kippur takes place. That Yom Kippur will take place at the end of the millennial reign. That's when the king will sit on the throne. But 1,000 years is as a day. So that millennial reign, I believe, will go by very fast.
It's sad because he's done all these different things coming up to it. Noah, the children coming out of Israel, to now it's almost the same story. Like we're carrying an ark. We're trying to get everyone ready, and we should be living. Sometimes I get caught up in the earthly world that I forget about what is coming. And I need to be focused on that.
Well, and that's where our heart, as our little group, our little ministry here, our heart is for those around us. Because we have a lot of friends that are still in the Christian world, and our heart is to bring them out, help and guide them. Our heart is to walk out this walk to the point that they want to do what we're doing. Okay, let's keep going, and that way we can get through all of these.
Sister doesn't tell my mom
Me?
Yeah.
What's she doing?
Poking with her pen.
Are you stabbing her with a
I
pen?
was trying to kiss her.
Is it a pinworm? Okay. 9. And Yahuah spoke to Moshe, saying, Speak to the children of Israel, and you shall say to them, When you come into the land which I give you, you shall reap its harvest. And then you shall bring a sheaf of the first fruits of your harvest to the priest, and he shall wave the sheaf before Yahuah for your acceptance. On the morrow after the Sabbath, the priest waves it. So, do you hear what he just said? So, by the way that we did, wow, that would be every year, the morrow after the Sabbath, the priest waves it. I'm going to do some studying on that. And with what Peter and Nancy sent today,
Yes.
I really want to do a lot more studying on the calendar. And it's time. So this year, we've started it more appropriately. The first day of the year, I feel like we were right on key. I feel like Pesach was right on key. But I still feel like the Zedek calendar is something that we should be following. Yes, sir.
What's tomorrow?
The day after.
Like
Tomorrow.
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 Well, you want to go meet up tomorrow?
I'll meet you tomorrow, okay? That does sound strange, doesn't it?
Tomorrow.
Okay. So we've got, this is Shabbat right here. It's the waving of the wheat, and that's what they're harvesting here. So these are all the spring harvest crops. What do we harvest in the fall? Grapes. What else?
Olives?
Olives. So we harvest the grapes and the olives in the fall. In the spring, spring and the summer, we're harvesting the grasses and the wheats. On that day, you wave the sheath and you prepare a male lamb a year old and as an ascending offering to Yahuah, and its grain offering 2/10 of an ephah of fine flour mixed with oil, an offering made by fire to Yahuah, a sweet fragrance, and its drink offering 1/4 of a hin of wine. And you do not eat bread or roasted grain, or fresh grain until the same day that you have brought an offering to your Elohim. Listen, a law forever throughout your generations in all of your dwellings. So it doesn't matter where you go, where you live, this is a forever law. Period. Okay? And from the morrow, there's that word, the morrow, after the Sabbath, from the day that you brought the sheaf of the wave offering, you shall count for yourselves 7 completed Sabbaths. Okay, this is correct. So I got confused. I confused myself. The day after Shabbat is your first day of the counting of the Emor, the counting up 49 days to the 50th day, which is, listen, what does 50 stand for?
Jubilee.
Jubilee. What does that mean? Freedom. Freedom. It's a freedom. It's a year of freedom. That everything is set free. Debt. You're free of all the debt. Listen, we're coming into the Jubilee year.
I thought, the 7th year was when you're free of debt and everything.
It's the 50th year. It's the year of Jubilee. All servants are set free. All debt is canceled. On the 7th year, all land. Listen, if you bought my land on the 7th year, you would give my land back. I mean, on the 50th year, you give my land back.
What?
Yeah, what?
I have a question. So if you say like no debt, like the debt is done, if you have a debt?
It's gone. It's wiped away. So if you came to me and you said, Beeves, would you lend me some money? And we're a year away from Jubilee. I would say, how much do you want? And you would tell me,
2 million.
2 million.
Jeez, wow.
I would go, you come to the wrong people. But I would make sure that whatever I lent you, that I could get it paid back before the Jubilee, because it's going to be gone. Okay, if you don't pay it back. Same thing with land. If I bought your land and it was 25 years from the Jubilee, I would pay you about 50% of what it was worth, because at the end of that Jubilee, it's going back to you. Okay? If it's 5 years before the Jubilee, I'm going to pay you a whole lot less, because it's going to be gone in 5 years. There's not a lot I can do with it in 5 years. I can plant some crops, but it's probably just going to be starting to really grow strong, and probably Seth Place would be a better person to tell us about planting crops, because my little garden's tiny.
That's interesting, because you could probably bet that people didn't sell unless there was a reason.
They had to be
They
in
needed
dire
something.
straits. Yes,
So it makes sure that the family keeps the land.
that's
It
it.
keeps the land coming back to who it belongs to, always.
Always it goes back to the family who originally was given that property. Y'all separated the property out intentionally, exactly how he wanted it to be separated, and it was never to change hands. It's not the same now. It has changed hands.
Yeah.
Not only has it changed hands, but even our country has come in and said, hey, Israel, you got to give back some land to the Muslim. I mean, you're going to... Whose mosque is sitting on the Temple Mount?
No way.
There.
I mean, that's all I'm going to ask. I mean, we've got a lot of things going on that should not be. And, I mean, even Israel is talking about building the new temple right next to the mosque that says, to the God that has no son. Okay? So, things are amuck right now. Okay, here we go. Until tomorrow, after the 7th Sabbath, you count 50 days, and then you shall bring a new grain offering to Yahuah. Bring from your dwelling for a wave offering. And this is what's cool. It's 7 sevens. Is that not cool? You've got 7 sevens, and then on the 50th year, you've got Jubilee. 50th day, excuse me, you've got the Jubilee. Bring from your dwellings for a wave offering 2 loaves of bread of 2/10 of an ephah of fine flour. They are baked with leaven, first fruits to Yahuah. I just really misled y'all. Guys, Jubilees is not on Shabbat. but the 50 is representative of the Jubilee. The Jubilee is in the fall feast, okay? So I just totally misled you, and I needed to stop and straighten that out. And besides the bread, you shall bring 7 lambs a year old, perfect ones, and 1 young bull and 2 rams. They are an ascending offering to Yahuah with their grain offering and their drink offerings, an offering made by fire for a sweet fragrance. And let's go down to 21. And on this same day, you shall proclaim a set-apart gathering for yourselves. You do no servile work, a law forever in your dwellings throughout your generations. So if you want to know the festivals that you're to celebrate, Pesach, Shavuot, and this is Shavuot that we're talking of right here, unleavened bread, and Yom Teruah, and Sukkot, and Yom Kippur. And Yom Kippur is not a celebration; it's a holy, holy, holy day. It's a very somber day. 22, and when you reap the harvest of your land, do not completely reap the corners of your field when you reap, and do not gather any gleanings from your harvest. Leave them for the poor and for the stranger. I am Yahweh your Elohim. And guys, this is all about Ruth. You can go to the story of Ruth, and that's what you've got. She was gleaning. Boaz didn't harvest his whole field. He cut everything, but he didn't harvest everything. He left the corners. Ruth was gleaning in Boaz's field, and that's because he was family to Naomi. So she went there to glean. She was poor. So we leave the corners for the poor people, and that's a good thing to do. You weren't even supposed to beat all the olives off your trees, nor pick all the grapes. Leave them for the strangers who are coming by, who are in need. Leave them for the widows and the orphans. Yes, sir.
Wouldn't that be considered stealing them?
No. If you were walking down the road, if I was walking through Seth's land, and he had a beautiful apple tree there, I could reach over and pick an apple and eat it. That was permissible. Now, if I went over to his tree with a big basket and started harvesting, that would be stealing. But if I'm just walking, just as Yahushua was walking through the wheat field, or it was wheat or barley, but he reached down, or his apostles did, they grabbed a handful and they ate it. That wasn't harvesting. Harvesting would be going out there with a basket to harvest. So the Pharisees were picking apart little bit. They were turning a little bitty mite into a great big huge stone. And the word tells us that you are free to pick as you're walking. So picking a handful of seed and popping them in your mouth, that is fine. So anyone could do that. The moral to that story is don't plant your trees close to the road, and don't have a pathway through your property, because anything that's there, you're supposed to allow anyone who's walking down the road to eat from it.
So you would allow someone to do it if your tree was like on the side of the road?
Well, even if they were walking through your property and you didn't have it fenced or a boundary up, yeah, if they were walking through your property, they could pick and eat, not gather, but pick. And yeah, you're like gathering a whole bunch when you do that, but just pick and eat. That was permissible. That was part of the law. It was the way you take care of your fellow man, right?
I mean, imagine if that was like that today, like we left those areas for those who are less fortunate.
Yes.
The widows, the orphans.
Yes. So up here, if we planted corn, back here in the back of the building, or okra, and people came along and just plucked, or they grabbed them a cucumber, that would be like, enjoy. And guys, listen, Yah knows our heart, and our heart needs to be in the place where we're willing to just allow anybody to come along and pluck and eat. Yah will bless you. He will bless you, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So we've got to remember that. If your heart is in the right place, but now every time you see someone plucking an ear of corn, you're like, I'm not going to have any corn left. Well, there goes a whole pot of popcorn. Wherever your heart is on the issue, he knows. He knows our heart. He searches the kidney. Kidney's a filter. Did you just cluck like a chicken? Okay, let's keep going because we're almost through with 23, and what we're going to do is, because it's really getting late. I'm sorry I'm doing this to y'all, but this is Torah portion. And what else do you have to do with sign up? Nothing. Just study. And Yahweh spoke to Moshe, saying, "Speak to the children of Israel, saying, in the 7th new month." This would be the month of Tishri. Yah did not name our months, did he?
No, Babel
what?
Babylonian people.
Babylon. So the tribe of Yehudah, when they went into captivity in Babylon, when they came back, listen, if you're gone to, if you move to California, or let's use if you moved to Paris, France, and you were there for 5 years,
You're gonna talk French.
by the time you come home, you're going to be speaking French, you're going to be cooking French, your whole method is going to be changed. They were there for 70 years. How much do you think changed?
A lot.
A lot. So,
Babylon.
walk like an Egyptian. They were walking like Babylonians. They came back with the days of the week named, the months of the year named. They came back with many, many traditions that started in Babylon. They brought them back with them because they adapted.
That's funny. My mom's always joking that everything I talk about with cooking is Mexican. She's like, "But that sounds like you're making everything Mexican." I get Texas,
You do.
like the way that things cook here. I've learned new flavors and new tastes that I've grown to love from this portion of the United States.
And see, that is so funny to me because I don't even cook Mexican food, but I was taught to cook by a black woman that was like my mammy.
Got the
I mean,
soul
she
food.
taught me how to cook, and so I cooked with bacon.
Right.
I've laughed because growing up, I put bacon even in pancakes.
No, when it tastes good.
Just now I eat
It was good.
avocados on my burger and put peppers and jalapenos
everything
and
has changed. We don't do the pork. Don't have the pork grease holder, and I've been off pork for 25 years, so haven't been doing it.
When I left, I didn't know how to make beans without a hog jaw in it.
Neither did I. I mean, I was like, what do you put? What do you do with your beans? I was salt pork, so I called it salt pork.
Yeah.
I would put a slab of salt pork. I would even like fry up salt pork and eat.
Yeah.
What's salt pork?
It's nothing but fat,
Yeah.
baby.
Ham hock. Just
We're talking about our old horrible
worry
nasty
about it.
habits. You will
you'll
never
never
get
have
it.
to eat it.
You will never have to eat it.
Okay.
And it's probably something that was probably full of worms, and I just think, y'all, that it didn't kill any of us.
Did y'all see that thing that Drum posted?
I saw it the other day, and I started to share it, and I was like, no, because I don't want to make somebody sick.
Yeah.
Was it a weenie or a sausage?
I thought it was a hot dog, yeah.
dog.
Golly.
That was a pork hot dog, right?
Yes,
It
and
was
when you
full.
put the water on
It was full of worms. What did it do?
When you put the water on it, what is those things called? Bugs or
Microscope.
yeah, those little things
Microscope.
went into the water. So when you put the pork in your stomach, it goes into
Your
the
intestine.
liquids into your stomach and into your intestines and parasites.
Yes.
Parasites.
I thought you were talking about the microscope.
Now I'm all like this.
What was that thing?
What are those little
I
things?
don't know, but if my microscope did that, I'd be scared.
So yeah, they cut a sliver of the hot dog and they put it in the microscope and put water on it, and the parasites went into the liquid surrounding the hot dog.
Yeah.
That was really gross.
I'm gonna try to even look too.
Huh?
I'm gonna need a microscope for work.
We're going to start scoping all of our food.
Just to
Put
see
water
if
on
it's
it. See if it's
Shannon?
slim.
We microscope our diesel, Mustang diesel.
We're microscoping her diesel.
That's how we're gonna get one. We need one for Mustang.
On the 10th day of the 7th. Okay, wait. Y'all are so messed up. Okay, y'all got me so messed up. In the 7th new month, on the first day of the new month, you have a rest, and it's a remembrance of Teruah, a set apart gathering. And it is a loud gathering. Everybody's blowing and blasting and trumpeting and shouting, and it is a beautiful celebration. And Yahweh spoke to Moshe, and it's actually a 2-day celebration, and let me tell you why. Because the sighting of the new moon if like there have been times we have not sighted it here on the new moon, but maybe in Israel they sighted it, and so by the time we find out that it was actually sighted, it could be the second day. So it's a 2-day celebration. This is the only festival that is on the first of the month at the new sliver of the moon. The only festival. Everything else is on the full of the moon. So you've already established the new moon, and you count 14 days at sunset. It's the 15th day. It makes it easier for all the rest of the festivals. But this one, you're waiting for it. Just like
So
we,
excited.
I know. Well, and it's like what we're doing now. We wait. I find myself anxiously waiting in anticipation for the sliver of the moon. I believe that as we keep doing this, we're going to know exactly where in the sky, like with Yom Kippur, we know exactly in the sky where it's going to be because it's there every year. Same place. I know exactly where to look for it. But now, each month, I need to start making a chart. You're really good at that. You should do that. Make a chart of where the moon is, like for each month that we're in. It would be very interesting because then we're not going to search so hard, especially if it's cloudy.
Well, I'll do my kindergarten version and you can tweak it, okay? Because I'll be drawing the sky, put north, south, east, and west. I'll be like, it was right here on this little square off the.
Arkansas, that's fine. I'll take your coloring picture, your coloring book picture. Okay, so on the first 2 days of the month, we have Yom Teruah, and on the 10th day of the 7th new moon is
Yom Kippur.
Yom HaKippurim. That was creepy sounding.
Sorry.
And you shall. Oh, it shall be a set apart gathering for you, and you shall afflict your beings. So this is not a day of festivities. It's not a day of celebration. This is a day that you take off work. This is a day that, generally we're rushing home to get a bath, to wash our hair, to get ready for sunset, because at sunset, you can't do any of that. At sunset, you afflict your being. You don't eat. And the hardest part for me is not drinking water, because I like water. And so by the time sunset comes, I'm like, y'all know how it is. Y'all have been there. You've done the same thing. And especially when we have a gathering on that day and we're studying, by the time you get through, everybody's mouths are clicking from being so dry. But yeah, that's exactly what we all sound like, clickers. That tribe in Africa that.
It's I read some stuff in the Targums. Last year I broke and I didn't do it right.
You know what? We're learning, Valerie. So I'm just going to say, and for some people, they have medical conditions that would keep them from being able to celebrate Yom Kippurim. And it says to afflict yourselves. It is the tradition on Yom Kippur not to eat and not to drink. But now there's some people who can't do it. There's some people that have to have fluids. They may have bad kidneys. So I'm just going to say that we're all on this walk and we do the best that we can do. You may have sugar diabetes and you can't do it. So it shall be a set apart gathering for you, and you shall afflict your beings, and shall bring an offering made by fire to Yahuah. And you do no work. And guys, all these offerings, you can't bring them to the temple because there's no temple to bring them to, right? We don't have an altar to burn everything on. So our offering is our praise and our worship and the things that we do for Yah. The ministries we support. And we support one ministry, and it's probably that time of the month that for us to send some more to our good friend in Uganda. But we have one ministry we support, and this young man is just amazing. Khalil, if you're watching, brother, we love you, and I'm so proud of you. But he's chasing after Yah with all of his heart. And I had people telling us not to do that. And did it anyway, but I will never regret doing it. Okay, and you do not work on that same day, for it is Yom Kippurim, to make atonement for you before Yahweh your Elohim. For any being who is not afflicted on that same day, he shall be cut off from the people. And any being who does any work on that same day, that being I shall destroy from the midst of the people. He's very, guys, listen, the rules that our Father has given us, they're very strict,
I'll never miss it again.
but they bring beauty.
Not gonna mess up anymore.
No.
Like, that's how serious that is to him.
Well, listen, you've got all of us. All of us are here. We're all supporting each other. We're here to back you up, to urge you on, and that's why we have an assembly. You're not in this by yourself.
Yeah, I was not in that last year.
Listen, when one falls, we all fall, because we're all responsible for that.
People ordered pizza and, stuff like that at the house. Yeah, it wasn't easy to.
That would be very hard. Now, I mean, I'm in a situation because my husband is not covenanted,
Right.
and we have been married, well, it's going on 40 years.
Right.
So
It's kind of insane.
I have to take care of him, and there will be food in the house. I don't get to touch it. I think that's tougher than just going all day without
Right.
touching food or seeing food, because then it's there and you're like, oh.
It's a dying of self, though. Like, I feel like that's part of it. It's beautiful that he does that. In Passover, we're doing that with the unleavened bread, and then at Yom Kippur, we're literally afflicting our beings in every area. Like, we want a shower, we want deodorant, we want all of those things, and Tanakh keeps us in constant contact with him about.
Yes.
Yep, it's kind of cool. He set
We
that
want
up.
all the amenities we're used to, don't we?
Yes.
So this day is considered a Shabbat of rest to you, and you shall afflict your beings. And on the 9th day of the new moon, at evening, and I like the way this is very specific, at evening, from evening to evening, you observe your Sabbath. And Yahweh spoke to Moshe, saying, speak to the children of Israel, saying, on the 15th day of this 7th new month is the festival of Sukkot for 7 days to Yahweh. And I want to do this right this year. I really do. I may not be able to because of my situation at home.
We're gonna be outside.
You're gonna be outside. I'll come sleep at your house. At your house.
Me and the kids are at least.
It's very hard. Oh, I should have hit
D&D.
do not disturb, shouldn't I? So on the first day is a set apart gathering, and you do no servile work. For 7 days you bring an offering made by fire to Yahweh. On the 8th day there shall be a set apart gathering for you, and you shall bring an offering made by fire to Yahweh. It is a closing festival, and you do no servile work. So Sukkot is actually a 7-day festival. The first day is you do not work, but you can cook. The rest of the time, it is all about living together, Sukkoting in tents. I mean, it really is an amazing time. But you tabernacle together, and then on the 8th day, what is that called?
Shemini Azaret.
Shemini Azaret. It's the 8th day, so you get through with the 7 days of tabernacling together, and Yah says, we've had so much fun. Well, I want to extend it one more day. Let's just go ahead and celebrate one more day.
That will be the day.
One day. Listen, on one day. So he comes back for us on Yom Teruah. We live with him for 1,000 years in the millennial reign. Yah willing, we will live with him during that millennial reign. At the end of the millennial reign, there will be the day of Yom Kippur. On that day, the books will be open, and everything will be judged. Everything you did, everything you said. Listen,
Everything you said.
what did Moshe say? He said the heavens and the earth. I call the heavens and the earth as witnesses. They saw everything we've done. They know everything we've done. And it will all be broadcast right there before you. And what shame. What shame we will have. I mean, it will be a sad day. It will be a sad day for many because they don't know him. And they don't realize that there's no free ride out of this thing. I mean, there's not. Yahusha did everything he was supposed to do. We have to do our part. Without our part, we don't even get to the door. He is the door. Without his righteousness, you don't get through that door. But Yahusha has done everything he's supposed to do. So we will have Yom Kippurim one day. The books will be closed. There will be a separating of the sheep from the goats. The goats will be cast into the lake of fire. Well, they will just burn up. And the sheep will go into an eternal living 5 days later. On Sukkot, we'll go into the wedding festival. And after the festival, we go into eternity on the 8th day. Yah willing, we are included, right? Okay. Isn't that beautiful, though? I don't even know what that verse is supposed to be, so I'm not even going to stop. Okay. These are the appointed times of Yahuah, which you proclaim as set-apart gatherings to bring an offering made by fire to Yahuah, an ascending offering and a grain offering. Does it talk about an offering made by fire in the Targum? So Yom Kippurim is the one day of the year that anyone enters the Holy of Holies. It is the day the high priest goes in to make atonement first for himself and then for the nations. And all 70 nations are actually atoned for on that day. We should thank them. They've been making atonement for us all these years. 70 nations. That's how many nations were split off at Babylon, and there have been other splits since then. But they've always made sacrifices, the 70 bulls for the 70 nations. Cool, isn't it? Okay. Okay, well, I'm going to keep going then. Okay, so you are to bring a slaughtering and a drink offering as commanded for every day. So every day for tabernacles, you bring or Sukkot, you bring a sacrifice. Besides the Sabbaths of Yahuah, and besides your gifts, and besides all your vows, and besides all your voluntary offerings which you give to Yahuah, on the 15th day of the 7th new moon, I just made 17 months. What do you think? I don't think it'll fly to you. On the 15th day of the 7th new month, when you gather in the fruit of the land to celebrate the festival of Yahuah for 7 days. On the first day is a rest day, and on the 8th is a day of rest. And you shall take for yourselves on the day the fruit of good trees, branches of palms, twigs of leafy trees, and willows of the stream. And you shall rejoice before Yahweh your Elohim for 7 days. So that's the lulav and the etrog. And you would hold the etrog, which was like a lemon-looking fruit, really bitter, and you would hold the branches and you would shake them. It was like a festival that you shook to each direction. That's right. It's a gathering. Listen, guys, one day it's going to be a gathering of everyone. So you're shaking it to the east and the north and the south and the west. Not necessarily in that order. Okay.
Never eat soggy
Never eat soggy what?
watermelon.
Ugh. I do not know. That was very random, but I agree with you.
So, what is never eat soggy watermelons?
Watermelon is soggy.
He's your son. He is her daughter, your son. Okay, you shall celebrate it as a festival to Yahweh for 7 days in a year, a law forever in your generations. So it means your generation, the generation after you, the generation after them. Guys, these are never-ending celebrations and festivals that we're supposed to, we are commanded to keep them. Did y'all hear anything about Christmas? Did you hear anything about an Easter bunny that lays eggs, huh?
St. Patrick's Day.
I didn't see that in here either. I didn't see anything about clovers or Thanksgiving. I do believe that Thanksgiving is probably a very twisted about tabernacles because the guy that came over on the Nina, the Pinta, and the Santa Maria, Columbus. And
That's a real thing?
That was not his boat. But when Columbus came over, they celebrated I believe they celebrated what was supposed to be Sukkot.
I thought they killed the Native Americans first.
I've got to do my history.
It will say that they had
What?
a big feast with them.
I'll tell you after that.
Okay. And you shall celebrate it as a festival to Yahweh for 7 days in the year. A law forever, 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 forever in your generations. What does forever mean, Grant?
Forever.
Without end. It doesn't end. Listen, guys, do you know, and this is how, on festival days, I like to sit and think about the fact that in the kingdom, guess what? The angels are all celebrating. They're celebrating Pesach. They're celebrating the day of unleavened bread and first fruits. They're going to be celebrating Shavuot with us. And when Yah comes back, when Yahushua comes back for us on Yom Teruah, great celebration, because guess what? He's coming back as our king. He'll no longer be our high priest because he'll be on earth. On earth there are, as Shaul said, there are men on earth to take care of the priestly duties.
And you know, I feel like he's going to know who all his children are in that moment. Because they'll be standing there staring at the sky.
Oh, wow.
All
We'll
his children.
hear, his children will hear the last trump.
We'll
Hear it.
We were looking back. We were like, never. We were looking from the east to west, Like, he's gonna be coming from that way. He comes. When he comes.
When he comes, he will be. And they say that it should be in a year of Jubilee.
That's what I was
Makes
thinking.
sense. All debts forgiven in that year.
Everything wiped out, all land going back to those who really and rightfully owned it. Except for they aren't counting on us strangers coming in there.
Move over. I want my tent by the riverbank.
Dwell in booths for 7 days. All who are native born in Yisrael dwell in booths. So that your generations know that I made the children of Israel dwell in booths when I brought them out of the land of Mitzrayim. I am Yahweh your Elohim, and thus did Moshe speak of the appointed times of Yahweh to the children of Israel. Guys, our actions, our choices, the things that we do on this physical plane make a difference. It's important, and you need to think twice before you go and celebrate Easter or Christmas. And I know that most people say, well, he knows my heart. He does. And he knows that it is wicked. Okay, this is something that's very interesting. I'm going to hit on 24 really quick because I just really hate going through and not hitting all this. In 24, these are commands, and this is for the oil, the clear oil that is to be brought in to keep the lamps burning continually, never to go out. And these are pressed olives. Do you know how they got the pressed olives?
No.
They would take the olive between their forefinger and their thumb, and they would squeeze it. And that's the first squeeze. That's the pressed olives. The rest of it would be further pressed. But the first pressing is with the two fingers.
Wow.
That took a lot of. It didn't, but when with your fingers, you're not going to get seed.
Near as much, yeah.
You're not going to get the pulp. So you're going to squeeze out the juices.
Just-
And then the rest of it would be as not quite as superior of an oil. Okay, outside the veil of the witness, in the tent of appointment, Aharon is to arrange it from evening until morning before Yahweh continually, without fail, forever. This is a forever law, another forever law throughout all of your generations. He's to arrange the lamps on the clean gold lampstand before Yahweh continually. Listen, if this is the temple, if we are the temple at this time when there's no physical temple to go to, this fire that we should have burning in our hearts for Yah should be forever burning. There shouldn't be a time that we allow it to go out, guys. That's important. How do we do that? You've got to stay in the Word. You've got to stay praying in prayer. That's what I was trying to say. And you shall take fine flour and bake 12 cakes with it, 12 tenths of an ephah in each cake, one for each tribe of Israel. And you shall set them in 2 rows, 6 in each row, on a clean table before Yahuah. And you shall put clear frankincense in each row, and it shall be on the bread as a remembrance portion, an offering made by fire to Yahuah. Every Shabbat he is to arrange it before Yahuah continually from the children of Israel. And this is an everlasting commandment. And it shall be for Aharon and his sons, and they shall eat it in a set apart place, because it is most set apart to him from the offerings of Yahuah made by fire. Okay, and guys, I want you to listen. Verse 10 goes in a completely different direction. It's like he's giving instructions to the children of Israel, and suddenly, out of the blue, comes this mixed family. And was it you, Valerie, that was someone was telling me, or you said it was Valerie, you were telling us about the man, the Mitzrayim man that married this woman who had the son? Listen, let me read this portion, and then I'll get you to interject. And the son of an Israeli woman whose father was a Mitzrayim man went out among the children of Israel. So his mother was an Israelite from her mother's side, but her father was from Egypt. He was an Egyptian. He was one of those that came out of Egypt. And the Israeli woman's son and a man of Israel strove in the camp. What does he tell us? What does he tell us in Deuteronomy 7:3? But come on, somebody look it up for me. Deuteronomy 7:3. He tells us to separate ourselves from them, because if we intermarry with them, what's going to happen?
Do not intermarry with them, and do not give your daughter to his son, and you do not take his daughter for your son. For he turns your sons away from the following me, from following me to serve the other mighty ones. Then the displeasure of Yahuah shall burn against you, and promptly destroy you.
Yikes! This is what they did. So Egypt came into this woman. She obviously taught it to her son. So she was half Mitzrayite and half Israelite. And her son suffered from this because he picked up a lot of the habits from Egypt. And the Israeli woman's son blasphemed the name and cursed. So they brought him to Moshe. Now his mother's name was Shalomith, the daughter of Dibri of the tribe of Dan. So Dibri had to be her mother. And they put him under guard, that it might be declared to them at the mouth of Yahuah. And Yahuah spoke to Moshe, saying, bring the one who is cursed outside the camp, and all those who heard him, all of the witnesses who heard him, shall lay their hands on his head, and all the congregation shall stone him. Guys, this camp was huge. If you let a little bit of leaven into the camp, pretty soon you're going to have everyone running around there cursing and blaspheming Yah. This was not something that was considered something that was unmerciful. This was stopping the spread, and it's like a plague. It's like a disease. You let one person do it, tomorrow there's going to be 2 people doing it. Then the next day it's going to be 4 people, and then it's going to be 8 people, and it's going to be 16. And pretty soon the whole camp is doing it. Look at the world. Look at the world. I'm going to tell you something. When I was growing up, you didn't see homosexuality. You didn't see dads leaving the families. You didn't see mothers striving to try to put food on the table for their kids, because the fathers took responsibility. When I was a child, and that was a long, long time ago, 50-something years ago, when I was young enough to remember, people took care of what they were supposed to take care of. So we've got immorality going on everywhere, don't we?
Yeah.
It's like it has never been before. So that's what he's trying to stop. And he who blasphemes the name of Yahuah shall certainly be put to death, and all the congregation certainly shall stone him, and the stranger as well as the native. When he blasphemes the name, he is put to death. So the native and the stranger, it doesn't matter who does it in this camp, they're going to die. And a man who strikes the being of any man shall certainly be put to death. If he who strikes a beast repays body for body. So he's going into basically an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth, an arm for an arm. Repayment for everyone of what they've caused the damage to. And we go down to verse 22. It says, you are to have one right ruling. Guys, listen, one right ruling for the stranger and for the native. For I am Yahuah, your Elohim. It's one law for all. And this is important. So it doesn't matter if you're native born, if you're from Israel, from Mitzrayim, if you're from Greece, if you're from Rome, if you're from America. We're all under the same law, and that's the law that's in the front of the book. So one law for all. And Moshe spoke to the children of Israel, and they brought the one who cursed outside the camp, and they stoned him with stones. And the children of Israel did as Yahuah commanded Moshe. And that would be a hard thing to do, especially if it's your son that you're having to watch be stoned. That would be hard.
Can I read this part of the Targums?
Please do.
Of course, we already know about who the person was, but this talks about how the judgment came about. I thought it was interesting. This is one of the 4 judgments which were brought in before Moshe the prophet, who decided them by the dictate of the word who is above. They were judgments about money and about life. In judgments on money, Moshe was prompt, but in the judgment on life, he was deliberate or slow by delay. Each party Moshe said, I have not heard, that he might teach the chiefs of the Sanhedrin of Israel, who were to arise after him, to be prompt in judgments respecting money, but slow in judgments that affected life, and not to be ashamed to inquire for counsel in cases that should be too hard for them, for as much as Moshe, Rabban of Israel, has need to say. Therefore they shut him up in the house of confinement till a time that should be explained to them by the decree of the word of the Lord.
Wow, that is beautiful.
So it wasn't just like a put him to death.
Like they didn't grab him, drag him outside the camp. So Moshe was very merciful, is what it was. If it was a deal with money, you owe him money, get it done. But anything to do with someone's life was very deliberate. I think that is so awesome that you found that, because looking at scriptures, it looks like it happened very quickly, and the boy was gone.
And then the only other thing was that about the murder, one who killed the man of Israel, not in Israel, the man of Israel. So I'm curious. I want to kind of dig and figure out who.
Okay, do y'all remember at Mount Sinai, there was Ben-Hur was killed at Mount Sinai.
Okay.
I'm wondering if that's the man that was killed, possibly by the father.
Ooh, okay.
So let's check and see if maybe that's been. Remember, it was Ben-Hur, because I was like, there was a movie by that name. How crazy is that? Okay, guys, I'm going to read through Ezekiel. I'm going to try to get through it very fast. This is part of it, and it's basically just going into really how.
Ezekiel 44.
Is Ezekiel 44?
Say it.
Ezekiel 44. And you know what? I'm going to 15. We're not going to do, I was going to go through 5. I'm going to highly recommend that everyone watching, if we still got anyone left and still awake,
No one's left.
start at 5. No one's left?
No. I think Mom even left.
Oh, it's been a long one.
She's having to do something.
So start at verse 5. If you're watching this later, start at verse 5 and go all the way through 17. Is it 17?
That's your homework.
It's supposed to be all the way through 31. Okay, so 15. 44, verse 15. But the priests, the Levites, the son of Zadok, here we go, and this is millennial, guys. This is something that will happen in the future. It has not happened yet. So the Zadoks, they who guarded the duty of my set apart place when the children of Israel went astray from me, they shall draw near to me to serve me, and shall stand before me to bring to me the fat and the blood, declares the Master. They shall enter my set apart place, and they shall draw near to my table to serve me, and they shall guard my charge. And it shall be, when they enter the gates of the inner courtyard, that they put on linen garments, no wool, no lamb. Wool has a negative frequency of 5,000. No wool is going inside this. And listen, this is a highly electrically charged, the Ark of the Covenant, highly electrically charged. You don't want to go near that sweating. If you've got wool on, you might perspire a little bit, and Grant said, and get shot. So, no wool shall come upon them while they attend within the gates of the inner courtyard or within the house. Can you have, I actually have the Targum of the major prophets. And Ezekiel should be in there. You'll see if that says anything different. So we're Ezekiel 44 and we are fixing to be in verse 18. But if you see anything in there, just shout it out.
I'm just kidding.
Okay, something happens when you sit in that seat, you start singing. That was kind of like a chicken, like singing. Yeah, I was like, I heard that this morning when I walked by my coop. Okay. They shall have linen turbans on their heads and linen trousers on their bodies, and they shall not gird themselves with sweat. There you go. So you don't want sweat when you're entering into the Holy of Holies. And when they go out to the outer courtyard, to the people, they shall take off their garments in which they have attended, and they shall leave them in the set apart rooms, and shall put on other garments, and they shall set apart the people in their set apart garments. And their heads they shall not shave, nor shall they let their hair grow long. They shall keep their hair well trimmed. And no priest is to drink wine when he comes into the inner courtyard. Okay, now, this is a little bit of a hint as to what happened to Nadab and Abihu. But if you go into the Targum for that particular verse, it does say they were drinking prior to going into. Listen, they've seen God's might. They were there when the Passover, the first Passover took place, when the firstborn died. They should have a great amount of respect for Yah at this point, because this is not that far afterwards. So they had to be drunk or out of their mind to do what they did. And they do not take as a wife a widow or a divorced woman, but take maidens of the seed of the house of Israel or widows of priests. And they are to teach my people the difference between the set apart and the profane, and make them know what is clean and unclean. Guys, this is where the Levites, or the tribe of Levi, has fallen very short, because they're not teaching us. Are they? No, most of them are still teaching the Talmud, not the Torah.
I'm sitting there thinking about people who I went another way.
That's okay.
You know my brain.
I'm learning it. And they are to stand as judges in dispute and judge it according to my right rulings. And they are to guard my Torah, guard my commandments, my laws, and all my appointed it says, and my laws in all my appointed festivals, and set apart my Sabbaths. That's their command. And they are not to defile themselves by coming near a dead man, only for a father or a mother, or for a son or a daughter, or for a brother or an unmarried sister do they defile themselves. And that's really the gist of Ezekiel. But I want y'all to go back and study from 5 on, because it really explains more about what the house did to cause the Levites that were not of the tribe of Zadok to be eliminated. They were not going to be allowed to be part of them. They will be part of the priesthood. They will be able to serve. They will not be able to go close or approach Yah to offer up his offerings. So, ta-da, we're done. This now concludes. 1 Peter really is good too, though. 1 Peter 2, 4 through 10. You want to read it? Everybody thought they were going to get up and go. 1 Peter 2, 4 through 10. You got it?
1184.
Huh?
1184.
Drawing near to him, a living stone, rejected indeed by men, but chosen by Elohim and precious. You also, as living stones, are being built up a spiritual house, a set-apart priesthood, to offer up spiritual slaughter offerings acceptable to Elohim through Yeshua Messiah. Because it is contained in the Scripture, see, I lay in Zion a chief cornerstone, chosen, precious, and he who believes on him shall by no means be put to shame. This preciousness then is for you who believe. Yes, but to those who are disobedient, the stone which the builders rejected has become the chief cornerstone, and a stone of stumbling and a rock that makes for falling, who stumble because they are disobedient to the word, to which they also were appointed. But you are a chosen race, a royal priesthood, a set-apart nation, a people for a possession, that you should proclaim the praises of him who called you out of darkness into the marvelous light, who once were not a people, but now the people of Elohim, who had not obtained compassion, but now obtained compassion.
So guys, obedience. That is what our Father is asking. Obedience to his commandments, obedience to his festivals, obedience to his priesthood, obedience to our Messiah. I mean, he is demanding this. And as Peter just told us, you got to have it. It's without it, you're not getting to the kingdom. I'm sorry, but the reign of heaven will take in all the reigns of this world. But all the reigns of this world are not going to be inside the kingdom. So if you love Yahushua or Jesus and you're striving to do the best that you can, you may enter the gates, but I'm going to tell you something. If you're not honoring Shabbat, which is his sign between he and his children, if you're not honoring your parents, if you're creating idols and bowing down to them, guys, listen, it's not going to be good. We have got to get back to doing Yah's ways the way Yah has told us to do that. And that's what this was all about today. So we want to thank y'all for joining us. Do not look like the people that are around you. Don't look like the nations. Do y'all have anything else to add?
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
We're going to sing super duper uber loud.
Oh, wow. Okay, hold on. Y'all have anything else to do before they break our eardrums? Yes,
Right.
we are going to pray. So,
Bailey.
yeah, I'll let Bailey pray. So, does anybody have anything else to add to the Torah portion? So, guys, if there's anyone out there, and I understand that everybody has left us, but if you're looking at this later, please, if you've got any questions or concerns, send them to, Messenger Seth.
What?
He woke up. Messenger Valerie, or Messenger me. You've already got my Facebook page, so Messenger me, and we'll get back with you with an answer. So, Bailey, would you like to pray us out?
Of course.
Okay.
Abba Yah, thank you for this day and thank you for everything you've done, Father. And thank you for this amazing study she has taught today, Father. And thank you for allowing us to open our ears, Father. And I ask that you wake the children of Israel and all the lost sheep, Father. And as we go home, I ask that we go home safely, Father. I love you and I thank you for everything you've done. In your name.
Amen. Amen. Wonderful. That was a wonderful prayer. Just give me an evil look. Looks like you. She looks like you. Oh, I'm getting an evil look from both of them. So, guys, thank you so much for joining us. Please set yourselves apart. Make yourselves set apart by your actions, your thoughts, your heart, your words, and let's show the world how it's supposed to be done. Okay? We love you. We bless you, and
Shabbat shalom! What in the world?
okay, Valerie, come here. Shabbat
Shabbat shalom!
Go away.
You're too loud for me.
It sounded like you were in great pain. Okay.
That was my pain.
Shabbat shalom, family.
Oh, I feel good.